this striker, this winger in this case, has scored the goals and how many points is he contributing with his goals as well.
Because I'm sure you know sort of externally there's the fans want to see a new striker or a new forward or you to add another attacking player. There's something. But from the way you talk, it doesn't sound like you feel that is necessarily the answer, that you have to go into the market no matter what.
So I have to make it more clear. So in January it was clear or no?
What you tell me?
No, well, I told you because you were in the room, I think, many times, and it's a very clear statement. And the statement continues the same. So.
Well, I thought the statement in January you wanted.
Yeah. I want the best team, the best player. If we have 3 goal scorers over 25, bring them in. We're going to be a much better team, guys.
Simon.
Yeah.
Okay, just on those goal scorers, are they the hardest players to find and buy in the current transfer market?
Probably there are, because there's not that many that put those numbers. I mean, it's something that's in the stat. There's not that many in the Premier League, and to do that. But I will try to improve, but certainly improve the ones that we have right now, and love the ones that we have right now, especially after losing. It's too easy to just go and look elsewhere, and don't use the moment to judge players, especially because we can. I was asked a lot of questions about certain players in this room, always in certain moments. But when other players have outperformed other players that we were discussing, I have 0 questions in the last 11 months. So it's all relative to the context, to the moment, and what you want to, the narrative that you want to generate. And I understand that.
And just on the summer, are you excited by what you've got planned as a club for what you want?
Very much, yeah. Already with the players that we have and having everybody fit and available, we are a super strong team. Look what we've done in the Champions League semi-final. We haven't done in 20 years, this football club, with the actual players that we have right now. So, yeah, very, very positive about it.
Hi, Mikel. You mentioned earlier that the words success and failure aren't in your vocabulary. So I was just wondering, how do you judge, or what words do you use to kind of judge progress with yourself?
To judge?
To judge progress, what words do you use?
Assess what we do, and what we are doing is something that we merit, or is happening by luck, or is happening, and understand the reasons why we do it. And what happens today doesn't mean that the same process, the thing that is good, is going to be good tomorrow either. So don't get carried away with that. And
to come here. And I was like, this guy just can't help himself. It's absolutely bonkers. I mean, they're out. They've not been the best team in this competition. They've played their best football in this competition, but their best football has not been great. That's why Stevie's Liverpool has won the league basically on one leg at the end. They have played some decent football in this competition, but they haven't been the best. They're not in the final. They got knocked out in the semi-final. Did they watch PSG take Liverpool apart over 2 games? Did you watch this magnificent semi-final with 13 goals in it, Inter Milan against Barcelona? He's like a character from The Office, isn't he? He just comes out with these ridiculous comments, a bit like the Amazon documentary he did when he had the light bulb and he said, this light bulb doesn't work if it's not connected. No way. Who would have thought that? You could almost see the players sniggering in the background. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You made a good fist of it. You had some injuries, you missed some chances, things could have gone differently, but PSG are a better side and you're out. And I think 2 words that have been brandished about towards the end of this season, towards some of the Arsenal players and towards 1 or 2 others maybe outside Arsenal, stay humble. And Mikel Arteta certainly wasn't that in defeat.
Jan?
Well, as we Norwegians said, stay humble. I mean, that was done in Norway, that quote.
Unless my memory's gone, Raya made some incredible saves in the 2 games as well. He just talks too much. You know, at the end of the day, your team should do your talking for you on the field. And anybody who knows a little bit about football will see what you're doing with your team. And what he's doing isn't quite good enough. It's good. They've played well. They play some nice football. They got some good players. They got some stars. But you got to win games. It's about winning games. And he's talking about the best. I actually did some digging. Can you believe it? In all the categories, whichever category you want to look at over the Champions League, neither Arsenal or any of his players individually are at the top of anything, any stat. None, zero. So, yeah, just let the team do the talking for you and just keep your mouth closed.
Yep, so the stats don't back it up. But let's hear what Luis Enrique had to say when it was put to him what Arteta had said. He said, Mikel Arteta is a great friend, but I don't agree at all. They played in a clever way and they got the match to the right moment for them because they played in the way they wanted and the way they love. But in the 2 legs, we scored more than them, and that is the most important thing in football. It's hard to argue with that, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, he got the 2 wins in 2 games. You know, what else you can say? And according to Mikel Arteta, the two teams, Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain, shouldn't be in the final because their 2 MVPs were the 2 goalkeepers, Jan Sommer and Donnarumma. So it doesn't make any sense. My question is, who wants him? Who does he want to convince? Because he's not in danger, so he doesn't want to convince the board. The fans, they see what happened. The player, they know what happened. So I guess he only wants to convince himself that he did the best, and that's the only thing, because he cannot convince anybody else. We saw the games. Yes, Arsenal is a good team, but they missed their chances, and at the end of the year, they're not going to get anything. And they should have scored goals. And as Ian said, you know, we all said even before the season, Arsenal don't have a striker. They need a striker. They missed the chances. It's Mikel Arteta's fault. Pick a striker. Get a striker. It would have been a different season. So the failure came from him because of no choices.
Craig, last night the guys were critical of Martin Odegaard. Go on ahead.
No, I was going to... Yeah, well, I know I've talked about Martin Odegaard having to step up in recent weeks, and he has not. He has not, if we're being honest. But this is just becoming tiresome now. You know, at the end of the day, nobody's interested in what your XG is after a game. Nobody. Maybe 1 or 2 boffins want to roll it out, and I get that. It's a stat that can tell you somewhat of a story, but it doesn't tell you the whole story, and it's not that little... You know, that little thing at the top of the screen with the scoreline, which is the most important thing. So I'm absolutely fed up of this Arsenal side, who there's a lot to like about them, because they are a side that he's built into. To be fair to him, he's built a side that's missing a piece or two, that's challenging in the Champions League and has challenged and should be challenged in the Premier League. But I think everybody's getting fed up of the referees, the PGMOL, you know, the injuries, you know, everything's against us, the bookings early in the season. Why did Declan Rice get booked for that? And Joe Bloggs at Wolves didn't get booked for that. At the end of the day, he's going to be judged on trophies and on results, not on some stat that tells you how they created any amount of chances in the box. And Stevie's right. He should just come out and say, you know what? I want to keep this brief, lads. We gave it our best shot. We actually made a good fist of it, created a lot of chances. It wasn't our night, and we need to address that and move on. Congratulations, PSG. It was graceless, it was classless, and quite frankly, he's going to have to learn from it, because if we're in this situation next year and the following year where the trophy cabinet is still empty and they're spending 100 million on the Declan Rices and on 100 million on a striker, whoever it may be, then Mikel Arteta, for all this good work that he's done, will not be in that job, and he can spout out any XG he wants when he leaves. It's not going to save him in the hot seat, so he's going to have to figure that out. And those comments he made are just been stitched together with a bunch of other stuff they've said this season, and Liverpool must have been laughing their socks off, because they rolled their sleeves up in the first 6 months of the season and they did the hard work, they did the dirty work, they did the...
Arsenal legend singles out who's to blame for another trophyless season. Ars legend Ian Wright has made it clear that he has to point a finger at the club's recruitment for the disappointment of another trophyless season. The Gunners were knocked out of the Champions League semi-finals last night as Paris Saint-Germain won the tie 3-1 on aggregate. Wright is not blaming Arsenal's players or manager Mikel Arteta, but stated his view that the recruitment wasn't good enough last summer. It ended up being a quiet window for Arsenal, with Ricardo Calafiori and Mikel Merino doing well, but not necessarily ever looking like becoming starters. Meanwhile, there was then a bizarre late move for Raheem Sterling on loan, which hasn't worked out well at all. Arsenal legend demands big summer from the club. Wright says it now needs to be a big summer for Arsenal as they're not too far away from going all the way in the big competitions. The Kroenke family will likely be the subject of fan wrath, as they often have been, but there'll also be an eye on what new sporting director Andrea Berta can contribute. We literally couldn't bring anyone off the bench to help that game in the semi-final of a Champions League, Wright said on his podcast. That is the only thing that I will point a finger at in respects of the recruitment, and this is why I'm hoping that Andrea Berta has got his book out and he's ready to go, because we are 3 or 4 players away from winning the league and winning the Champions League. Mikel Arteta surely running out of time to deliver a trophy for Arsenal. As much as Arteta has widely been acknowledged as doing a great job to make Arsenal competitive again, it's surely time to bring in some silverware to show for it. Everyone can see that AFC have been superb in the last 3 years, but fans want to see trophies, and next year might be the one where the pressure is really on for Arteta to deliver. The Spanish tactician won the FA Cup early on in his reign, but they've just not quite been able to get over the line in a couple of Premier League title races. Arsenal's board are unmoved on the future of manager Mikel Arteta. Sources can confirm, despite some supporters left frustrated by another trophyless season and amid claims the Gunners would be better sacking the Spaniard and appointing a big-name alternative. On Wednesday night, Arsenal crashed out of the Champions League semi-final against Paris Saint-Germain, losing 3-1 on aggregate, leaving some fans frustrated by another season without silverware, which now means the Gunners have not lifted a trophy since the FA Cup in 2020. It was hoped the club would have secured a major piece of silverware by now, but sources there have no doubt they are extremely close to achieving that and remain very much behind the 43-year-old as a result. Indeed, sources state those on the Gunners' board feel they are within touching distance of a trophy under Arteta and will give him the support needed to secure silverware in North London. To that end, Arteta will undoubtedly remain at the helm at Emirates Stadium and will do so with unwavering support, sources have confirmed to Team Talk. They affirm the board's resolute backing, dismissing any whispers of job insecurity.